But looking back, every time I let go of something that wasn't meant for me, I made room for something that was so much better. Welcome to the first episode of my new series called Becoming Her, the journey to growth, healing, and confidence. Now, this series is personal, along with a lot of my other videos, because I know what it feels like to want to become her. Becoming her is about evolving into the best version of yourself after you've endured pain, overwhelm, and struggle. Becoming her signifies stepping into a new place of peace, strength, and self awareness where you prioritize healing, self love, and alignment with your true purpose. It is truly about reclaiming your power, setting boundaries, embracing joy, and embodying the woman that you have always aspired to be, that resilient, confident, and woman at peace. So, if you're watching this video, maybe you are in a season where you feel like something in your life just isn't working anymore. Um, Maybe it's a relationship, a mindset, a habit, or maybe you just outgrown this version of yourself. For me, it was a mindset and a version of myself that I had outgrown. And speaking from experience, I know how hard it is to let all of that go. But here's the truth: you can't step into the best version of yourself while you're holding on to things that are keeping you stuck. Let me say that again. You can't step into the best version of yourself while holding on to things that are keeping you stuck. That is why the first part of this series is about letting go and breaking free from what no longer serves you so that you can move forward and towards the life that you truly deserve, the life that you want to live. Letting go is hard, but you know what? That staying stuck in that same place, I think that hurts even more. Letting go of the old version of yourself is hard because it's habit, it's familiar. Holding on to what's familiar might feel safe, but it keeps you stuck and in a cycle that no longer serves you. And sometimes we stay in those situations that drain us because we're invested, whether that be time, energy, emotions. I know I'm speaking to someone because this spoke to me and my whole experience with a season that I was in. And I learned that stepping into something new requires uncertainty and discomfort. And a lot of us don't like that uncertainty and discomfort. That's why we stay in that place for too long. But I want to share a few deeper reasons why it's hard to let go. Number one, comfort is familiar. Even if your past self carried pain, it's what you know. Change brings uncertainty, and the unknown can feel scary. Fear of losing control. This was something that I had to let go of because I am what I call myself to be a recovering perfectionist. Um, but I had to learn that growth requires surrendering control, trusting the process, and allowing yourself to evolve without knowing what's next. And that can be scary, you know? Number three, emotional ties to pain. Sometimes we unknowingly hold on to past versions of ourselves because they validate our struggles. Um, and then moving on can feel like dismissing what we've been through. Number four, guilt and loyalty to the past. You might feel guilty for outgrowing people, places, or a mindset that had once defined you. But healing doesn't mean forgetting, it just means you're honoring your past while choosing a better life. Fear of success and happiness. If struggle has been your norm, true peace and joy can feel foreign. The mind resists what it doesn't recognize, even if it's good for you. Now, I've been there. I stayed in situations where I knew deep down I was shrinking myself just to make other people comfortable. Um, I've even held on to mindsets that told me I had to prove my worth by overworking, overgiving, and over explaining. And you know what? None of that brought me peace. It just brought me stress and overwhelm. But the beauty in letting go is that you're not abandoning yourself, you're evolving into what you were always meant to be. And growth isn't about discarding your past, it's about using it to feel the next steps to help you grow into that greater version of yourself. Now, how can you recognize when it's time to let go? When you're holding on to something that's costing you more than what it's giving, you got to release the past and step into a new season. If you feel drained instead of fulfilled by something or someone, it's leaving you emotionally, mentally, and even physically exhausted, it's time to move on. Or maybe you've outgrown it. You feel disconnected from the habits, relationships, or mindset that once felt natural to you. If it no longer brings you joy and peace, or it feels more like an obligation than something that truly feeds your soul, it's time to let it go. If you're staying out of fear and not love, and holding on because you're afraid of change, loneliness, or the unknown, it's time to let go. And if you keep getting signs, but you ignore them, these little whispers that feel like little nudges to move forward, but you resist, it is time to let go. If you can imagine a better version of yourself, and deep down you know that letting go would help bring you more peace, happiness, and growth, trust that vision, trust that intuition. It's already showing you what you need. Let it go. Now, I've experienced all of these as it relates to my career. I was what I would call a high achiever who thought that, I had made it. I built a solid career. I juggled my marriage and motherhood along the way, and always the go to problem solver at work and at home. But the truth is, I was exhausted. And I kept telling myself, this is just the way it is, you know? But deep down, I was asking myself, what if it doesn't have to be like this, you know? And I started to imagine a life where my job respected my boundaries, where I was present in my life without guilt. And that's when I started to make changes in my life because it was time for me to step into the life that I wanted, um, not a life that I thought I needed. You know, I realized that I didn't have to keep proving myself in spaces that didn't honor me. And letting go wasn't easy. But holding on to what no longer served me was hard and tiresome and stressful, you know? So sometimes you just got to trust that release will create a space for something greater. And that's what I did. So you may ask, how do you let it go? I'm going to share a few steps that have helped me, and I hope that they can help you on your journey as well. Letting go isn't about wanting to move on, it's about actively choosing to release what no longer serves you. And that first step is acknowledging what no longer works. And you have to be honest with yourself. That's why I talk about journaling. Write it down, you know? And if you're constantly drained, you got to ask yourself, are you staying in a situation that's out of guilt, fear, or obligation? You have to recognize that something isn't serving you. That is your first sign that you need to move forward, that you need to let something go. And you have to give yourself permission to change. Ask yourself, who am I without this job, this title, this relationship, this version of myself? You know? And letting go doesn't always mean making a drastic leap overnight. Things don't change overnight. It takes time, you know? And something as small as setting boundaries, taking time to explore new opportunities, or simply shifting your mindset. Boundaries is something that really helped me in my career and in my personal life. And I also had to know and tell myself that every small step is progress. You know, every day start showing up as the woman who chooses herself, the woman who values her well being, the woman who no longer settles for just survival. You don't have to wait until everything is perfectly in place. Take this from someone who was a perfectionist, okay? The moment you decide to let go is the moment you step closer to peace, that freedom, and the life that you truly desire. I'm going to be real. Growth is not easy. Healing is not easy. Letting go is not easy. But I took time to rest my mind and my body and to think, and even went to therapy. And I walked away from situations, an old version of myself that no longer aligned with where I was going. And it was painful. There was a lot of tears shed, you know. But looking back, every time I let go of something that wasn't meant for me, I made room for something that was so much better. So if you're in a season where you feel stuck or scared or unsure about what's next, trust that you are not alone, you know? Um, know that you're being prepared for something greater. And letting go isn't losing, it's leveling up, you know? And I promise that the future version of you will thank you for doing this work, because it is work and it does take time. But trust the process, because it is leading you to somewhere beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Becoming Her. I'm so excited about this series and others to come. And I really hope that this subject has encouraged you to start letting go of some things that no longer serve you. If you like sharing, um, let me know one thing you're letting go of so you can become her. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification so you don't miss part 2. where I'm going to be diving into rebuilding your confidence and self worth. Remember, letting go is hard, but staying stuck hurts more. Choose yourself, always. I'll see you next time.